この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りしました。
Yo, everyone, I'm in. This time we will discuss Bluelock in the manga version. Before we start, please support this channel by hit the like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get started. In the previous episode, Bluelock third round selection. World 5 team versus Bluelock team begins. Kick off. Isagi passes the ball to Bachira. After receiving the pass, Bachira penetrates with his quick dribbling skills and gets through Pablo. Next to him, Isagi asked him to make a 1-2 pass but Bachira refused. He would only pass to people who challenged his expectations. Isagi realized that Bachira would pass the ball if Isagi could resonate with him. Isagi tried to adapt to Bachira's new soccer style. He moved out of Bachira's range, aimed for the goal using his position, and tried to slip away from the opponent's guard. But Loki quickly blocked his movement. Bachira suddenly made a quick cross, but the direction of the ball passed Isagi. Isagi realized that the ball was not intended for him, but the pass was directed to Rin, who immediately continued the ball with a kick at the goal. And a goal was scored, 1-0 to the Bluelock team. Rin told Isagi and Bachira to keep them both as bait for him. Bachira smiled that since Isagi joined the team, Rin's movement has gone up a level. Isagi tried to analyze the goal that had just been scored. He tried to surpass Bachira vision, and his approach became the key. Even if they are world-class players, they probably weren't ready for such a swift attack from the get-go. And just as he ran into position, Rin devoured him. Tokimitsu and Ryu praised the three of them. They were really good. They could score quickly even against world-class players. After that they both approached Isagi and praised the new player on the team. With Isagi, the attacking options for the team increased. Team World 5 was a little surprised by the goal that just happened. Blake thought that with an opponent who is a developing country in soccer, it would be easy like taking candy from a baby, but it looks like they have to try a little serious. Silva laughed and said it was good as long as they didn't lose. Pablo agreed because the contract said if they lost they wouldn't get anything, and Luna also added, "Don't forget that we have a bonus of $10,000 per goal," and he told his team to start. A restart of play. Luna passed the ball to Loki to start the attack. Isagi came to block Loki's movement. He read the situation to stop Loki. He thought that as long as Loki couldn't get past him, the Bluelock team wouldn't be cornered in a risky situation. For a moment Loki stopped and said Isagi's defense had many gaps, and suddenly in an instant with explosive movements, Loki penetrated Isagi's defense, and also with his super speed Loki managed to get past Bachira. And it didn't stop there. With zigzag movements while maintaining his speed, he penetrated Tokimitsu and Ryu's defense. A few seconds after penetrating their defense, Rin came to block. He knew where Loki would move. But he thought Rin was too slow. With just one footstep Loki was able to pass Rin, and with one powerful kick he managed to score a goal and equalize the position to become 1-1. Tokimitsu began to wonder if they could win. Ryu was lazy and facing speed-type players. Bachira praised Loki's speed. Isagi began to understand the level of world-class players now. Rin told his teammate to stop whimpering and just pass the ball to him. A restart of play. As planned, Bachira passes the ball to Rin. While Rin dribbles, Loki comes in the way, with the sudden speed making Rin confused, and suddenly Luna is behind him to snatch the ball. After grabbing the ball quickly, Luna passed the ball to Pablo. When Pablo received the ball, Isagi and Bachira immediately surrounded him to take the ball together. Pablo quickly made a backspin forward pass through the legs of both of them. The ball was coming towards the front of the penalty box where Ryu and Silva were positioned. Seeing the ball heading towards him, Ryu was confident of intercepting the pass in the air. But with his muscular body and higher jump, Silva won the aerial battle and managed to head the ball first. Tokimitsu and Blake were chasing the ball, and as usual Tokimitsu panicked, intending to chase the ball and kick it out of the field. But before that happened, Blake came in with body charging and won the duel. Blake kicked the ball into the goal and the goal was scored again, 1-2 in favor of the World 5 team. From the two quick goals that just happened, Team Bluelock felt the difference in ability level with their opponent, and they were hesitant to win. Restart of play. This time Isagi started to attack with Bachira. As Bachira dribbled, Pablo came to block. Bachira used his dribble technique, which he called Thunder Dribble, to get through Pablo. Pablo knew Bachira's dribble was dynamic, but there were not many attack patterns. He took the ball easily and passed it to Blake. Tokimitsu made a body charge at Blake to grab the ball, but he realized his power was not enough to do that. Blake passed the ball to Loki, and Isagi chased him from behind. Isagi did manage to predict the movements of the opposing players according to his vision. But it was useless. His movements, tempo, passes and all aspects of the opponent were too fast. Although Isagi was able to predict, he could not stop or even follow what his opponent was doing. Before Isagi could block, Loki made a long pass forward. Because the ball came too fast, Ryu didn't know when to jump. Suddenly above him Silva managed to jump with the right timing and headed the ball toward the goal, and the goal was scored. The score was 3-1 in favor of the World 5 team. Isagi mumbled, "It's no use, they're too good, they're the real deal. What is this feeling? We're just getting pushed around. No matter how much we struggle, it doesn't feel at all like we can win. The way we are now, we never stood a chance against these opponents." A restart of play. Bachira dribbled to start the attack, and again the ball was grabbed by Pablo, and from distance, Pablo kicked the ball into the goal, his shot curving into the corner of the goal. And the goal was scored, 4-1 in favor of Team World 5. While everyone seemed resigned, Rin was still burning. The match was not over. He came to block Luna's attack. Luna praised Rin, and according to him, of all the players, Rin was the only one who was still willing to fight to the end for the victory. While dribbling, Luna ran towards Rin to immediately destroy him. Luna did footwork movements to trick Rin. As Rin focused on watching Luna's footwork, he managed to get past Rin by directing the ball between Rin's legs. After managing to get past Rin, Luna gave the advice, "Hey, you shouldn't do that. If you spread your legs so readily, people will think you're easy." And with one direct kick, Luna put the ball into the goal that signaled the match was over. The final score was 5-1 in favor of Team World 5. Before leaving the field, Luna said, "Hey, don't worry. Our roles here are to assess you after all. The real point of this match was to pick the members for the Japanese team in the Under-20 World Cup." Loki said the match was already settled on the premise you guys would lose. Silva said, "There's no way you could have won." Pablo said, "We've got to report to Ego our thoughts on their abilities." And for the last, Luna said, "Adios, you unpolished gems. Next time, let's meet in a real game." Bluelock 3rd selection. First World Select Battle. Team Bluelock 1-5 loss. At the Bluelock Special Conference Room, many Japan Football Association officials were shocked that having to pay 100 billion yen to a world-class player, and also that the farm ended in defeat. They told Jinpachi to explain his purpose. Then Jinpachi explained, "If you love your child, send them out into the world." The point was to have them experience the world at this sensitive period in their development. "I don't expect old-timers like you who've gotten comfortable with giving up to know how to dream. So you can just shut up in your corner, of course." His words provoked the emotions of the Japan Football Association. Baratsuda Hirotoshi, as president of the Japan Football Association, said he would stop the Blue Lock project. "We're fending off complaints from the participating students' parents. The scope project remains unclear, and above all, we're not seeing any results." Jinpachi responded with an angry expression, "Then I will show you some results. We're gonna have a big match, President. The time for Blue Lock to change the face of Japan has come." Meanwhile, in the 3rd selection 5-person room, Isagi asked his teammates about their previous match. Ryu thought he had gotten stronger since coming to Blue Lock, but the match just now really opened his eyes. Tokimitsu wondered what Jinpachi's purpose was after getting the match report from their opponents. Meanwhile, Bachira somehow felt refreshed after losing. He guesses it's because not that he fought against those I once thought I'd only ever see on TV, but it feels as though he has gotten an actual sense of what the world best is like. Isagi had the same opinion. This realization was probably the true meaning behind the match, but he was different. In that match, Rin alone played from start to finish with the intention of winning against the world players. Of course, I also started out trying to win, but they were so overwhelming. At some point, it started to feel more like we were just practicing moves on them. We were just thrilled to have the chance to play against these players that we looked up to. The way I am now, that's the extent of my current abilities, so for you to be so frustrated, Rin, you really are amazing. For me, those world players are still just an existence I aspire to. But to you, they equal who you're trying to beat. It's definitely people like you who rise to the top of the world. Which means, then that the day I win against you, is the day I will be able to stand on the world stage. From my front row view of you, I will rise above you to become the best in the world. Third selection, second task, language studies. Let's first start with English. Bachira seemed to have trouble pronouncing the names of the days in English. As Rin was already proficient in many languages, all his teammates asked him to teach them, and it gave him a headache as they asked so many questions at the same time. The ability to communicate with foreign athletes will be a necessary skill for playing at the international level. It wasn't long before the bell rang, and an announcement came over the speakers. The second selection has just come to an end. All members who will advance to the third selection have now been gathered. Please promptly put on your uniforms and gather in the central joint room. Altogether 7 teams, comprising 35 members, have successfully advanced. Members will be admitted in the order that they cleared the selection. Now then, to start. First clear team, please enter. Rin, Ryu, Tokimitsu, Bachira, and Isagi entered the third selection joint room. And not long after that, second clear team entered the room. They were Nagi, Baro, Jagiri, Zantetsu, and Kiora. When Isagi saw them clearly, he smiled happily, but that smile annoyed Nagi, who thought Isagi must have thought they wouldn't make it after the loss against Rin. Baro said that the main character couldn't fail, and the extras like Isagi would know that. Isagi didn't look down on them at all. He was just happy to see his friends again. Then the next team was allowed to enter. When the third clear team entered, their team members were Karasu, Atoya, Yukimiya, Himizu, and Yuzu. Bachira and Isagi didn't recognize any of them. Next, the fourth clear team entered the room. Their team members were Nanase, Sunzaki, Hiragi, Endoji, and Haiji. Tokimitsu looked scared. He thought they looked very strong, while Ryu said, "Since 7 teams in total passed, that means there are 3 left." After that, the fifth clear team entered the room. Their team members were Nico, Hiyori, Saramadara, and Ishikari. Isagi recognized one of the players. He was Nico Iki, but the fifth team only contained 4 players. It turned out that the fifth team member named Nishioka Hajime was being treated for injuries against the World 5 team. Tokimitsu said Nishioka as Lionel Messi in bluelock. After that, the next team was allowed to enter. Before entering the room, sixth clear team was very noisy, arguing about something. They were Raichi, Gagamaru, Wanima, Shiguma, and Tanaka. And shortly after that, the last team was let in. Isagi, Chigiri, and Nagi were now waiting for the 7th team to arrive. They were waiting for Reo and Kunigami. As the 7th clear team entered the room, in the style of a great player, Igarashi entered the room followed by his 2 teammates, Sokura and Corona. And then we see Reo walking behind him. Just one more person who's passed. Is Kunigami coming? Everyone who cleared the 3rd round selection meets up. The final person is Ryusei Shido. Isagi still couldn't believe Kunigami wasn't there. Isagi couldn't accept Kunigami was over. He was sure his friend was not the one who let the dream end. Shido answered Isagi's question, saying, "It's over now. I sent him straight to hell." Well, it is true that his physical abilities were good. His heart was noble, as he was honest and undoubtedly pure. However, you won't find people like him on the field. But I don't care. Someone who only explodes for a moment is human trash. He has no worth being in my story. He is a slime that won't even help me level up. Isagi said in a loud voice, "Don't mess with me. What did you do to Kunigami?" Suddenly Shido jumped up and tried to kick Isagi's head, but with quick reflexes Chigiri quickly pulled Isagi to avoid Shido's attack. An angry Bachira said, "Seriously, me too. If you wanna go, we can square up. In my eyes, you're the slime, you tanning salon freak." The monitor screen suddenly lit up, and Jinpachi said, "Okay, let's leave it at that, unpolished gems. If these little outbursts continue, you will end up getting thrown out. Anyways, all of you have no time to be worried about those who have been dropped. At any rate, everyone's soccer life even will soon be thrown into the worthless hellfires of Blue Lock, and disappear with the rest of the trash. Before that, good job to everyone. Your matches on the worldwide battlefield held a hopeless defeat, I assume? We will explain that another time. The upcoming third round selection is to pass your language studies, and well, there are plenty of other things I was planning on narrowing down until the last 5 players but changed plans. It seems that the higher-ups from the Japan Soccer Association want to dissolve Blue Lock as fast as possible. Therefore, I dared myself to draft a challenge. With that, the next selection in 3 weeks. The battle for Blue Lock's continued existence. Japan national under-20 team versus Blue Lock selects 11-member team special send-off match. If you win this game, Blue Lock will hijack the Japanese national under-20 team. 72 hours earlier, when Kunigami was defeated and then unselected, he remembered Shido's words before leaving. According to Shido, Kunigami was a naive hero. He preferred the purple-haired Reo because it looked more useful. Feeling upset and disappointed, Kunigami went to the exit gate. In his mind, he could not become the best striker in the world, and his dream would end here. When Kunigami had surrendered to his destiny to bury his dreams deeply, at the end of the road there was an intersection, and 2 doors were visible in front of him. One way's the exit, and the other way leads to another entrance wildcard room. Back to the central joint room. The players wondered why the association officials would accept the conditions. Jinpachi explained that's because they don't think there's a chance they will lose. Their opponent's a ragtag team of high schoolers after all. And with every single member being a forward, they were snickering away while signing their agreement to the game. Their goal is to terminate the Blue Lock project and to make a ton of money off the potential crowds who'll be buzzing about a national representative match. By defeating us and making laughingstocks out of us, as a prime example of rearing failure, we will make history in Japanese soccer. And, well, listening to all this, frankly, how do you all feel? Do you feel frustrated being underestimated? Are you seething and wanting to make them flustered? I will calmly and realistically declare this. Every one of you, as of right now, is able to upset the world of soccer in Japan. I mean, with that said, our opponents will come at us with 100% of their skill, intending to win. You guys will fight against the current members of under-20, and one other. It's been decided that Sae Itoshi will be the first one summoned. Now the time has come to put everything on the line here. You will learn about egoism and to discover your own skills and chemical reactions. All 35 of you have experienced matches against the world's best. Becoming Japan's under-20 reps is no longer just a dream, but a reality that is within your grasp. Let's begin. Unpolished gems. The ones who will change this generation are Blue Lock. And the ending scene shows Kunigami entering the wildcard room. Until here this episode, what do you think? Give your opinion about this episode. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the latest videos. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.